The RKO is one of the most iconic wrestling finishers of all time, so today we're hitting an RKO with Randy Orton in every WWE game, brought to you by DraftKings. Randy's first WWE Games appearance dates all the way back to Smackdown Shut Your Mouth for the PS2, but at this point Orton wasn't using the RKO. He's using one of the worst finishers of all time, the Overdrive, and the same goes for WWE Raw 2, which released for the original Xbox back in 2003. It actually wasn't until WWE WrestleMania 19 for the GameCube that featured the RKO as Randy's main finishing maneuver. Look at that young boy. Oh my God, the RKO on The Rock. And we are, oh, okay, he kept up. One more time, RKO on Dwayne. I'm trying to do a video here, bro. Can you stay down, please? I'd appreciate that. Thank you. Here comes the pain. Young Randall continues his rise. This game sits atop my favorite of all time. Maybe not the prettiest looking one, but the gameplay is so much fun. RKO on Brock Lesnar. It gets no better than Here Comes the Pain. But not only Here Comes the Pain, here comes a quick word from our sponsor, Transition. This weekend, it is going down in Beantown at UFC 292, Sterling versus O'Malley. So I've teamed up with DraftKings to bring you guys an incredible offer. All new customers that sign up for DraftKings using my promo code DenkOps and bet just $5 on any of this weekend's fights will receive $150 in bonus bets instantly. So what are you going to use that $150 in bonus bets on? Great question. Whatever you want. Bet on DraftKings same fight parlays for a chance at an even bigger payout. Combine multiple bets together from the same fight, like how many rounds is it going to last? How's he going to win it, etc. And if sports betting isn't currently available in your area, do not worry, because you can still get in on the action with DraftKings Daily Fantasy with some massive cash prizes up for grabs. So download the DraftKings Sportsbook app right now. Use that promo code DenkOps. Bet that $5. Get your $150 in bonus bets, and Bob's your uncle. Thank you to DraftKings for sponsoring this video. Without further ado, let's do it. Back to the GameCube for WWE Day of Reckoning, which released in 2004. An 80 overall Randy Orton moving up in the world here. One of the better looking games up to this point for sure. And I say this every time we do one of these videos, but these Nintendo, oh, wait for it. Bam, these Nintendo GameCube wrestling games, so incredibly underrated. But of course, if you're talking about, you know, some of the best looking wrestling games, look no further than WWE Survivor Series for the Game Boy Advance. Randy Orton looking better than he ever has. And check out this gameplay, man. Incredible. Am I finally actually gonna be able to do the RKO? It took me forever to figure out how to do that. I will give this game this, though. It's got some sweet 8-bit entrance themes. Listen to this. On to Smackdown versus Raw, the originator, the one that started it all, 88 overall Randy Orton. This was a franchise that I know is looked upon very fondly in a lot of people's hearts, including my own. Big RKO on Kane. Still had that Here Comes the Pain style, but was starting to move forward a little bit as far as, you know, graphics and game modes and whatnot. I appreciated it. WrestleMania 21 for the Xbox, though, was not a game that I personally ever played. I didn't own the original Xbox growing up, so these games were never really on my radar. Never got the chance to play them. So looking back in videos like this, it's cool to see stuff that I never really got to see before. Day of Reckoning 2, however, I saw quite a bit of. Of course, the follow-up to Day of Reckoning 1, 86 overall Randy Orton. And this has got to be the best looking one we've seen so far. The gameplay, fantastic. I will say it again, the Nintendo wrestling games are so incredibly underrated. If you have a chance to play them, please absolutely go do that. Smackdown versus Raw 2006. Now we're getting somewhere in the SVR series. 86 overall Randy Orton. GM mode is introduced. I mean, I know a lot of people will probably say in the comment section that this was either the game that got them into wrestling games, a big RKO on Triple H, or just one of their favorite wrestling games of all time. The same could probably be said for SVR 2007 as well, with Randy coming in at an 88 overall. Legend Killer absolutely on fire at this point. And with these SVR games, they started to make little tweaks to the game. Check that out. This RKO came out of absolutely nowhere. Boom! They made little tweaks to the gameplay systems to try to make them feel a little separate, because as we get to SVR 2008 here in 9, 10, 11, look at this 92 overall Randy Orton. It becomes for me anyway, a little harder to tell the difference between all of them with these obviously cinematic RKOs, and they're trying to make it look as realistic to the product as they can while still giving it that little arcade feel. And in SVR 2009, I mean, this game is starting to look beautiful. 95 overall Randy Orton, same overall as The Undertaker, actually. My personal favorite Randy era of all time, just the psychotic killer, no remorse Randy Orton. And look at this big full-time animation this time around. I would say so far SVR 09 is probably at the top of my list as far as the SmackDown versus Raw games go. Word up, obviously a big catchphrase of Randy Orton. SVR 2010 though, 93 overall Randy Orton, but the default WWE champion, and of course the belt that they bought at Walmart in the child section on the way to the arena. These cinematic finishers continue, but you'll see as the years go on, they actually start to get away from that a little bit, which I'm not a huge fan of. I like the cinematic finishers and the camera changes and whatnot. Tiny belt, hold it up, baby. That brings us to SmackDown vs. Raw 2011, which would be the final SVR game. 95 overall Randy Orton. Nobody knew at this point in time that this was going to be the last SmackDown vs. Raw, but the series went out with a bang. It had a good run. Big RKO on Christian. And as great as this game looked, they wanted to start taking the games and wrestling games in general in a different direction, I guess. Because here comes WWE All-Stars, one of my personal favorites. People rag on it for how it looks and the overly cartoonish gameplay and whatnot. But to me, that's what stood out about it. That's what made it such a crazy game. Look at the height on the RKO on Kofi Kingston. I will always have fond memories of All-Stars. And I'm just going to sit here pooping on his chest. You know how it is. But a new era is upon us with WWE 12, a big emphasis on simulation and matching the product, trying to make the game look as close to what you'd see on TV as they could. They pulled back on the finisher animations and some of the overly arcadey stuff. For some people, they might say that this was the beginning of the end, but it by no means was a bad game, nor was WWE 13, which was pretty much a love letter to the Attitude Era. 92 overall Randy Orton. I fondly remember this game simply because of all the awesome Attitude Era stuff. Being an Attitude Era guy, it gave us that incredible RKO, that incredible CM Punk, Stone Cold Steve Austin encounter that unfortunately never led to anything, but WWE 13 was able to stand on its own until we enter the 2K era with WWE 2K14. 92 overall Randy Orton. I'll say it right now, this is my favorite wrestling game with the name 2K in front of it. It's also I'll check out this running RKO, it's so sick. It's also the last time we saw the story creator, which I've been wanting to come back for so long. I don't know what 2K's doing or thinking, but they don't want to bring it back. It's fine. It is what it is, because we are moving on to WWE 2K15. 92 overall Randy again, and now we are entering a new generation of consoles. This was the Xbox One era, PS4 era. You know, those consoles had just come out, and seeing a game like this, big RKO on a new generation of consoles, was unbelievable, because we've never seen wrestling games look this good. Gameplay, you know, that's debatable. Some people love the simulated stuff, some people don't like it as much, but either way, 2K is gonna keep coming at your face with WWE 2K16. Stone Cold on the cover. 91 overall Randy Orton. We are in the thick of it now. The yearly 2K releases, certain features being added in other years, taken out in other years. You know, it's had its ups and downs as time went on, but check this out. Big charged RKO to Seth Rollins in the WrestleMania arena. It's okay, Seth, you will take the pin here, but don't worry, I think later on at this WrestleMania you end up having a pretty good night, which locks up 2K16 and brings us, of course, WWE 2K17. Brock Lesnar stalking us in the back. Randy Orton 88 overall, taking a little bit of a dip. But I'm gonna say this, man, if you took WWE 2K16, 17, 18, maybe 19, RKO on Roman Reigns, you better not kick out Roman. If you took all those games and said, Chris, you have to tell me the difference between all of them. We're going to put all the gameplays side by side, and you will not be unkidnapped. WWE 2K18 coming at you right now. 90 overall, Randy. Look at that. And you will be unkidnapped if you can tell me which game is from which gameplay, which year. You'd be seeing me for a long time. We'd become best friends. A new entrance, though, this year for Randy Orton with the vest on. Can't say I've met too many people in the world who said their favorite wrestling game is 2K18 with the big RKO on AJ Styles. But, you know, everybody's got their preferences. Some of them are just better than others. And that's going to wrap up 2K18. Now, what could possibly come after WWE 2K18? Cover your eyes, WWE 2K19. Now, I will give this game this. 87 overall, Randy Orton, by the way. A modded PC version of WWE 2K19 can be very, very enjoyable. I don't know what they were thinking with Randy's hair. That's none of my business. And I'm just going to leave it at that. RKO on Bray Wyatt. Again, 2K19, you got a PC, you got a bunch of mods. This can turn into a very fun game. As it is by itself, not bad. There's definitely been worse. Speaking of worse, hello, WWE 2K20, the lowest rated WWE game probably ever. 88 overall, Randy Orton. Doesn't really matter. It sucks because, damn, this is a good looking game. It really is. But the empty arena shows you just about how many people would consider this their favorite wrestling game ever. RKO on Roman Reigns, and we are moving on, not quickly enough. WWE 2K Battlegrounds. They said, okay, you didn't like 2K20? We're going to give you something completely different. 90 overall, Randy Orton. They tried to capture that WWE All-Stars feel with more of a modern spin. You know, people can say what they want about the models and stuff. Really not a bad game. Super big RKO, just like All-Stars. It just lacked something. It lacked something. Now, wisely, 2K stepped back a little bit for WWE 2K22 and said, okay, we got to make some changes. And this turned out to be a step in the right direction for the 2K series. WWE 2K22, especially compared to WWE 2K20, I mean, it was pretty much night and day. Big RKO on Brock Lesnar, a new look here for WWE 2K, and they're moving in a good direction. And before we get to the most current WWE 2K game, we got to give an honorable mention to an RKO here, which was not from a mainline WWE game, but from a mobile game that a lot of people might remember, WWE Immortals. Look at this crazy looking game. That little snake crazy looking person is Randy Orton using the tongue for the RKO. This is a wild looking freak. And finally, the most recent WWE game, WWE 2K23, 93 overall, Randy Orton. We have reached the promised land, people. Hit that thumbs up button as hard as you possibly can if you enjoyed the video. Subscribe to the channel. We are on the road to 2 million, baby. Let's do it. It's only right to finish off. Oh, look, RK Bro coming at me quick. You aren't quick enough, bro. The RKO from Randy Orton. We're going to charge it up and give Riddle one more for the road. Sorry, Team RK Bro. We got to do what we got to do. And Randy Orton is victorious. And that is every RKO in every WWE game with Randy Orton. Thank you guys for stopping by. Appreciate the support. Let me know which finisher you want to see next. I'll see you next time. Peace.